let me love you.
Hey you guys, it's Midnight here, back for another video, and today we're talking about F4 Thailand, and the finale came out on Saturday, so I figured let's do a whole review, our final review for this show. It's been a long run, like really a long run. Like now that this show is over, I don't even know what to do anymore because like I think for most people, this show was like the best parts of their freaking Saturdays. This was the best part of my Saturday. But again, like it's kind of sad that like it's over. Oh my gosh, I want to cry. So yeah, what I will say before I even get into like the nitty gritties of this review is that this was like the best versions, hands down. The best version, the best adaptations. And like for me, I just want to say that like I didn't come into this show with little to any expectations. The only thing I wanted was them to keep it true to the source material because of course, like probably many people know that I was really unhappy about the Korean version. I did not like the Korean version. But again, I was just very content with how this show ended up. There were some things that a lot of people did not like about this show, which I will happily discuss. But for the most part, again, like I didn't come into this show with little to no expectations, simply because I wanted them to follow the Japanese version, considering that this show is Japanese. So I was really happy with that. So, yes. So let's start off with the casting. The casting was just 10 out of 10 for me. Like, I cannot imagine anybody else playing these roles, like any of these roles. Thyme, Gavin, MJ, Ren, Tu, Cunning, like, did I say two? Gorya, excuse me. Gorya, Cunning, like, I think everybody did what needed to be done. Like, this was just a great group project. Even the director did amazing. The cinematography was good. The OST was good. Like, I liked it. And I think, honestly, besides the Japanese version, this had one of the best like OSTs, like one of the best. So yes, oh my gosh. And I do want to say that this is actually my first drama from Bright and Wind, considering that they are the most popular. So yeah. And I did go back while watching this show, like in the middle of watching this show, I did go and watch Together, which came out in like what, 2020, because I just wanted to like, okay, see, okay, like I know like for me, Win was the one who kind of caught my attention. So I was like, okay, like let me see what other stuff he has done prior to the show. So yeah, I did go watch that. So when it came to like the casting, everybody did good. Like when it came to Bright's acting, I know he did get some criticism, which to me was unfair criticism because his acting was really good. Like he was very immersed in his role, given the fact that he's what, in his mid 20s now. And one could say that he's too old to be playing a teenager or even like a high school student, but he fit really well. Like I did not think twice about how old he was, and his acting just felt so real. Like real. Like it didn't even feel like he was acting. Like, oh my gosh, like everything was perfect. I think the only thing that he needs to work on, along with two, is their more emotional scenes because it was weird. Like the crying was just weird to me. I don't know. But that's about it. That's the only issue I had with two and Bright's acting. Everybody else did pretty fine, especially when. And then also this being too Nani and Du's first drama under GMM. So I think, they did perfectly fine. There's no I don't have any complaints. Now plot wise, I love the plot. Like everything was well executed down to like details, location, everything. One thing I really have to give so much praise for is the fact that this is a show about privilege, like class. This is a show about class. And for the love of goodness, they did great presenting that. Like we had the expensive cars, the expensive clothing, the fashion was on point, best fashion out of all the versions, may I say. Everything was on point. We had Ren driving a freaking Maserati. Both Gavin and Thyme were driving Aston Martins. MJ had his motorcycle. Then what else did I like? Oh yeah, the fashion was on point, y'all. There was so many times that I was drooling. I was literally drooling over the fashion. The fashion just got me like, oh my goodness, y'all. Like you had Time wearing Balenci, MJ was wearing Prada, Gavin was wearing Louis Vuitton and Mason Katsune. Y'all, I was just going gaga, like crazy, crazy with the fashion. Like they was just throwing it in our faces. Like, yes, Louis, Prada, like Balenci. Like I was going crazy. So yes, and then like even they had like the Nintendos. I know Time had an Oculus Rift. Oh my gosh. I was like, yes, 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 yes. Even the school, the locations were beautiful. I think out of everybody, I think Gavin's house was my favorite because it like every house represented them, like represented their own individual style and what they were kind of like known for, like their family background. And even the styles, like their own personal style. Like I like again the individualism. Gavin was more of a playboy, so of course he had this like flower boy, pretty boy look. MJ was more of like a bad boy. He wore a lot of like leather, a lot of blacks. Ren was more like chill and very reserved and mysterious, so he wore like a lot of like light colors. Even in his house was very light. Like, and then you had Time. Time was very gaudy like. That's why he wore a lot of like a lot of what is it? Like animal print. Even his house with the dark leather, very gaudy, like everything. I even like the school. The school was like the best part because I like that like in every version F4 had their like the little hangout spot where they sat at, and I like how it was like on the second floor of the cafeteria because of course they're at the top, like they're the 1%, so they're like, even though mostly everybody at the school is rich, they're like literally the 1%. And so you can see them looking down at the other students and stuff like that. So I really liked that. And again, like even like again they had their own little area, so it was nice. I think that was like the best version. And then they had like the playground. They had like a little playground. So again, like it was just screaming rich. It was screaming money, 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 privilege. And then also the fact that like every time F4 showed up for school, they had their own little reserved parking. Oh my God, that had me dead. Y'all, that had me dead. So I really liked that. And also too, I think out of all the versions, with an exception of the Japanese version, I love the symbolism. Like everybody had, meaning. Every character had meaning. liked it that, like, I know, for example, like during Gavin's arc, just when Gavin had explained to Cunning why he have basically commitment issues, or he didn't want to commit, she was still kind of like processing it. And so like when she was at, her job working, she was holding a flower that represents him, which is a hydrangea. And she was like spraying water on it, and was like basically kind of like, how do I cultivate this? How do I make this grow? Whatever. And that is part of like their relationship, so I thought that was amazing. A very great touch, and a very great details that I really liked. The things that I do want to tackle on is the lack of Conning and Gavin scenes. I would have liked it. Like, we did get some, like, after Gavin's arc, which is in episode 13. We did get some in episode 14, but I just would have liked to see a bit more of them. Like, would have loved it, like, towards the end. And I do want to talk about Rosalind's redemption. She didn't really get a redemption. She got more of a realization. And one thing I really liked in this version is how realistic it was. The attention to realisticness. Because I just love what they did with her. Like, I know in the Japanese version, she when the main characters had went to her about, giving her blessings when they got married, you can tell that she was kind of like warming up a little to the female lead. But what I liked about in here is that we actually get an understanding of why she did what she did. And the fact that she thought that she was doing what was best for Time, and she was actually, this was, I guess this was her way of showing love to him, but just also kind of like not realizing that, to him that wasn't love. So I like how Gorya and Rosalind get this like one-on-one, and Gorya is just telling Rosalind how Time felt, because he never got to tell his mother how he truly felt. And that's when she kind of realizes that, she may not have gone about things the right way. So, yeah. So that's what I really loved about that. Now we can go on to like the criticisms that I felt like a lot of people had, which I kind of was like, I don't know. And that's the amnesia scene. I think a lot of people felt like, I guess it was too, I don't know, too short, I think. And I don't think it was too short, because the amnesia scene is supposed to be temporary. He's not supposed to, like, it's not a long-term thing. So, yeah. So it made sense that they only did it to, like, I think part 3 of the last episode. So I wasn't complaining with that. And it made sense how they did it. So I'm not complaining. And then the ending, people did complain about the ending. I don't know what other people imagined the ending to be. I was actually content with the ending. And then also the marriage slash proposal. This one I felt like wouldn't have made sense, all because, I mean, this is obviously Gorya's last year, because there was a time skip to her last year of high school. And one thing I do like about this version is that Time does consider her feelings, because again, she is young. And for him personally, he like, first of all, MJ and Gavin are already in college. Time has accomplished his dreams because he spent most of his time in the US, so he's already done accomplished his dreams. Ren is just on cruise mode, since, he did announce that Mira would be getting married soon. So I just love the fact that there was no rush for him to propose, and he kind of like wanted to allow Gorya to make that call. So that's something that I really liked. Now, the only criticism I had with the final episode was Conning not being at the prom. I wish that Conning was there because, I mean, I would have liked her to be with Gavin. And also, you know, she is Gorya's friend. So I would have loved it had she been there. But like overall, in conclusions, this was like the best version. Like I can't even just stretch how much this was just the best. Like I cannot. And I will be, of course, like watching other GMM shows because I feel like the other I haven't watched GMM shows other than the U Prince series, like since the U Prince series, let me just say. So yeah, and I'm really starting to really love watching Thai dramas other than like Slap and Kiss, because that's literally what I watch. But I love this, like I truly do. So I will watch like other shows from like Bright, Win, Nani, and Do. But yeah, this was the best version. I really highly would recommend. This is like a 10 out of 10 for me. So, yes. And a bonus thing that I would really love to talk about is how like F4's reaction to Thyme getting on one knee. I busted out laughing. When I saw it was Wynn's face for me. Wynn was like, how dare you? Like, it's like he took a double look. He was like, how dare you? Like, he was like, Thyme. Now you freaking asked me to marry you like twice, but you ain't never get on one knee. So what is this? That's literally how he looked. I was just picturing back to together, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God. I said, honey, I could see Bright and Wynn arguing over this. Like, how dare you? Like, you ain't never get on one knee for me, but you asked me to marry you twice. I could just see this. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and please do subscribe and please hit that bell for more notifications from me. Bye, you guys.